Welcome to LovegLew Creations, where we create and design for your inspiration. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's wreath. Okay, so today we're going to do something really fun, and we're going to make a wreath using hydrangeas. So what I have behind me is a fall wreath that I made using these pretty fall color hydrangeas. And I have it on a styrofoam wreath back. But we're going to do something different today, and we're going to make a Halloween hydrangea wreath using these. This is exciting. I'm so excited. Okay, so first I want to start off with our wreath recipe, and we're going to use black and deep purple hydrangeas. We're going to use a 16-inch wreath, styrofoam wreath form. We're going to use black ribbon, and I have two types. I want to talk about each one of these. So we're going to use this ribbon to wrap the wreath form. And we're going to use this little guy here, and this is our skeleton. He's going to go in the center of the wreath form, and he's 16 inches. I got him from AtHome. And we're also going to use some floral wire. So you can get a pack of these from Amazon. The hydrangeas came from Michael's, and I always get these on sale because these can be kind of pricey, so either on sale or at the end of the season. This also came from Hobby Lobby, and the ribbon came from Hobby Lobby and from Michael's. All right, so what we're going to do next is we're going to wrap the styrofoam wreath in black ribbon. The reason why I chose black is because our flowers are black and dark purple. Now, one thing to keep in mind is we could go ahead and leave the styrofoam without wrapping it with ribbon, but now because we're adding the skeleton in the center, it's going to draw attention to the color of the wreath form because he's going to be sitting in the center, so we definitely want to have that covered. But I wanted to talk about the different types of ribbon that I have. And when you cover styrofoam, you want to use a very thin ribbon. If I can get this cut off. And I prefer to use ribbon without wire. So this is a wire ribbon. It's thin, but it's got wire on it. And the problem you'll have is as you're wrapping it, it just adds just a little bit more texture to what you want to do with the styrofoam, because we're going to be using push pins inside of into the styrofoam wreath form. So I prefer not to use the wire ribbon. So I prefer to use plain nylon ribbon. And again, this one came from Michael's. And as you can see, it's going to be more pliable, easier to work with, easier to wrap around the wreath. So let's go ahead and get started. So when we start, we want to, let's get our push pins. So we want to be able to have our starting point. So I always start, so this is going to be the back of the wreath form. And you're going to add a drop of glue to the styrofoam and place the ribbon right on top of it, so it can start with a secure area. I use the glue gun to push it down, the glue down onto the wreath form, because you don't want to use your fingers. And just let it sit there and hold it for a second. And what we're going to do is we're going to use one of the floral picks and stick it right through that glue in that ribbon, just like that. All right, and then we're just going to go ahead and wrap the wreath form. And just go all the way around, just like that. And continue to go and wrap all the way around until it's fully covered. All right, so I'll go ahead and wrap it, and when we come back, it'll be fully wrapped. All right, so one thing I wanted to show you was the very end and how we seal it off and finish off the end part of our wreath form. So wrapping our wreath form, so here we go. Final piece comes back to where we started. And we're going to do the same exact thing that we did at the start. We're going to glue that piece to the wreath form. we're going to use our wire cutters. And I know earlier I said our glue gun to seal it down so you don't burn your finger. So use whatever you have. I prefer to use the metal because I can rub it off later. But make sure it's on there really good, and then let it cool for a second, and use your floral pick and push it down through. Use our wire cutters, seal it in there. There we go. So that's the end. Cut off this little bit. This is going to be, again, the back, so it doesn't have to be all pretty. And if you want, you can add another floral pick in there just to help seal it. And we're good to go. Put this last one in. All right, there you go. It's done. Complete. This is the front. Okay, so next we're going to apply our skeleton. So we're going to apply this little guy right here. So one of the things that I want to do when I sit him in, I want to sit him into the wreath form. I'm going to attach him with a floral pin right through his hip, right there, and push that in, and then we're going to turn his head so he is definitely looking out at the world, sitting on his little cushy wreath form with flowers, being comfortable, sitting on your door or wherever. So we want his head turned out. And then I thought it would be cute to lift his leg up like this, like he's relaxing and chilling, and put his hand on his leg and just kind of like chilling on the wreath. So nice and cozy. So next I'm going to show you how to apply him to the wreath form. Okay, so we're going to sit him in here just like that. Get him positioned to where you want to make sure that his head is in there good enough so you can glue it. And we're gonna, like I said, take our push pin and secure him at his hip. Nice and secure. We're gonna glue that as well. Let's go ahead and glue his head. So he's in there nice and good. Nice and perfectly. Stick him right up in there. His head's turned out, so that's perfect. Make sure you turn his head before you glue him. Hold it there for a little bit. It's nice and secure. Now, like I said, I want to put his leg up just like this. So it looks like he's chilling inside, relaxing inside his little fluffy wreath. So we're going to glue his foot inside the wreath. So we're going to glue him right at the heel, and that should hold him there. So let's glue him at the heel. Right there. Hold it there. Get it in there real good. Hold it there for a little bit. It looks like he's just sitting. Look, it's so cute already. Okay, all right. And then we're gonna, let's go ahead and glue the top of his foot as well. So let's get this in there good, let it dry. All right, and then let's go ahead and glue the top of his foot. Get him in there secure. Right at his ball of his toe. Cool thing about the skeleton is you can definitely, oh wait, it's going good. It's okay if you, there we go. The flower is going to cover up a lot of this, so we'll be good to go once we, so if you see some glue showing, that's okay. The flowers will definitely be cover up. All right, and then figured we could put his hand there and glue his hand on. What do y'all think? Yeah? Oh, that's cute. Let's do that. Okay. All right, so glue right in there. Oops. All right. And this leg is just going to hang over to the side. So he is definitely looking comfortable. What do y'all think? I think so too. All right, so next we are going to do the flowers. All right, really quick guys, I forgot to tell you, we're definitely going to add some glue to that push pin, that floral pin that I put in his hip, so that can secure him there. So definitely make sure he's as secure as he can possibly be. And also, I use Gorilla Glue. It's the strongest glue out there for your glue for all of your wreath projects. I like using Gorilla Glue, and so whatever glue is good for you, but you definitely want to make sure this guy sticks in here, so Gorilla Glue is the best glue. And if you feel like you need another push pin, feel free to go ahead and add another floral pin in there as well. All right, so while our little skeleton friend is drying, we are going to go ahead and cut the hydrangeas. So one thing I wanted to point out in regards to the hydrangeas, I chose these colors because I wanted it to be a Halloween kind of look, but you could have used any color hydrangeas. You could have used the hydrangeas that I used in the wreath that I made for the fall. And you could have added the skeleton and had a Falloween kind of look, right? So, but I want it to be kind of Gothic. So I really like these deep colors. So we're gonna go ahead and show you how to cut the hydrangeas so you can get them on the wreath form. So one thing to keep in mind is when we're cutting our hydrangeas, we want to cut them as close to the base as possible because we don't need a long stem for it, because we're going to use push pins. We're going to use our floral pins to add them to the wreath form. So we're going to cut all of them right at the base. Some of them are different, so it depends on the types that you buy. Again, I buy these either on sale or at the end of the season, so you're going to get different types of flowers with different bases at the head of the flower, but that's fine. So once you cut it off, you're gonna have the bush of the hydrangea. One tip also, keep your leaves. You never know when you can use them again for another project. So I'm gonna finish cutting these, and then we're gonna get back to applying them to our wreath. Okay, so I've cut all of my hydrangeas. I've cut them right at the base of the flower itself. And what I did was, when we apply them to the wreath form, we're going to apply them in alternate colors. So black, purple, black, purple, black, purple, black, purple. So I have 7 here. 7 hydrangeas that we're going to use to apply to the wreath form. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm sorry. 2, 4, 6. We have 8. Sorry, you guys. So we have 8 hydrangeas, and we're going to apply them to the wreath form. And I'm going to show you how to do that in a few minutes. Okay, so here we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to apply the hydrangea, and when we apply it, we want to make sure that it's kind of on the perimeter of the wreath form. And because if we put it, usually when I make these wreaths, I put it in the center, but if we put it in the center, we put the hydrangea right in the center of the wreath form, we're going to cover up our skeleton. Usually I don't have anything in the center, so I want to make sure that we don't cover up our little guy here. So we're going to start mostly on the perimeter to make sure that we don't cover up his head. So I'm going to start with putting the hydrangea at his head first, and then from there we'll work our way around the wreath form. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a floral pin, and we're going to take that floral pin and go through the center of the hydrangea, and we're going to apply it through the center, just like that. So here's my floral pin, and we're going to use the floral pin and have it go straight through the center. I hope y'all can see that. See, it's going straight through the center, and it's through the center just like that. Can you see him? It's hard to see. See that? There's my floral pin. Just like that. Okay, and then we're going to stick that. That's going to go through the wreath form. And then once we stick it through the wreath form, we're going to glue the top of the floral pin and make sure that it's stuck onto the actual wreath form itself with the floral pin. All right, but here's the problem I have with this one. This is too long, so we're going to cut that down a little bit. So let's give that a better chop. There we go. So it's more closer to the base of the flower itself. So I cut that down just a little bit more, so then we have better working room here. So again, putting it through the wreath form, through the hydrangea, and we're gonna push it through, and then we're gonna glue it in. So let's start right here. So we're putting it right here. Can y'all see that? We're gonna start here, right at the base, right at the perimeter. Push it through, just like that. All right, so it's not covering up his head too much, and we got it pushed through, and we'll glue it down. But I want to go ahead and add all the other ones before we glue it down to make sure that we got everything positioned correctly. If you glue it first, you'll get it all glued on, and then you're gonna realize maybe you needed another flower or it's not spaced right. So I like to just go ahead and get them pushed in, and then we'll glue them in. So we'll do another one. So we're gonna alternate with our different color. There's the base. Let's cut that down a little bit more. All right, perfect. So we want it as flush as we possibly can without cutting it to where we cut all our stems apart. So make sure we don't do that. All right, so again, pushing it through our hydrangea. And you can see the pin, floral pin right there. And starting right out the perimeter, line it up with the other one, and push it in. And push it as far down as you possibly can go into the wreath form. Need to add a little bit of muscle there. Use whatever you can to push it as far in as you possibly can go. All right, let's do another one. Flush is a little difficult. All right, each flower is difficult. All right, one more time. Go through the base of your flower and push it in. So, okay. All right, and I'll keep going. When I come back, we'll be done. Okay, so I pretty much have all of my hydrangeas on, but I wanted to save the last one for last because I wanted to show you how I'm going to do his legs and his hand. That's not secure to the wreath form. So for the sake of just showing you, I'm going to pin the final hydrangea here, and then just let his foot and his hand just kind of relax on the outside. So it just looks like he's, like I said, chilling, relaxing inside his fluffy little wreath home here. All right. Okay, so let me go ahead and apply that last one, and I'll show you the finished product. Okay, so let's see. I think we got it in pretty good. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to glue the floral pins onto the wreath form. So keep in mind, we did not glue anything until we had everything placed. So that way you'll have an opportunity to reposition as needed once you look at your final product. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do now is go ahead and start gluing in my pins to the wreath form. All right, so I'm gonna give y'all an example. So here's the one by his foot. Find out where it is. So you'll have to go through either the center and find your pin, find your floral pin, and then add your glue right in there. Give it a good wallop so it goes all the way around the actual flower, the stems within the flower, as well as onto your floral pin. And then I'll go ahead and do the rest of the wreath form, or the rest of the hydrangeas, and we'll get right back to you. Okay, now that we have that finished, it's now time to add the leaves. So what we want to do is add the leaves to the perimeter of the wreath form itself. So it'll be on the outside border of the wreath. So what I have is, and remember I said do not throw away any of your leaves. We're going to actually use them in this wreath. So what I have is a variety of different sizes. So I have the large leaves and I have the medium sized leaves. So I don't have enough large leaves to cover the entire perimeter of the wreath itself. So we're going to do an alternate of the leaves. We're going to alternate them from large to medium. And so what I think I'm going to do is let's go ahead and lay them on the outside of the wreath and see how that looks, and then we'll glue them on. Okay, so here we go. We're going to start with a large leaf. So large, small, small, large, small. Can't see that. Small, so large, small, small, large, small, small, large, small, small, large, small, small. Perfect. All right, so now we're going to add the leaf into the wreath form. So what we're going to do is, see right here, it's just going to go right on the perimeter, just like that. So we're going to lay it down just like that. So we'll add our glue to the stem of the leaf and apply it right in there. Put it down so it sticks good. And then we're going to go ahead and add the small ones right next to it, because that's the pattern that we're making. So we made a pattern. So large and small. So we add the small. And we're going to add another small. Right next to it. So you don't want it right under it. You want them to be perfectly side by side. Because remember, we're dealing with a limited amount of leaves. So we got to make sure that they all make their way around the wreath form. All right, so I'm going to continue the pattern and glue them all in, and I'll come right back. Okay, here's our finished product. How's it look? I think that it turned out really, really pretty once we added the leaves to it. So let me go ahead and hang it up in the background so you can see it as it's going to hang up. Move that out of his face a little bit so you can see our little friend hanging out in his little wreath, chilling in the background. So I'm going to have some links for you at the bottom of my page, and you'll be able to order the Gorilla Glue from Amazon or Floral Picks from Amazon, either or. Please tune in for next Friday. I'll have another tutorial for you all, and like and subscribe, and thanks for wreathing with me.